Hi students, I hope everyone are enjoying the video lectures. This is again Muhammad Usman Khan. We have started the syllabus from beginning again. So this will be helpful for the all the students who are newly joining and the students who are going to write NEET exam this year and uh, the students upcoming second year students and upcoming first year students also. This video lectures these video lectures will be very useful for them. Okay, so I hope you are following all my video lectures, but do not forget to subscribe the channel. So this will give much energy for me, and it will help me to for my encouragement and to make more videos like this for you. So you share all these videos for all your friends and everyone you know. So these videos will be very helpful for everyone. So let's enter into our video lecture. So as you know that always I start a video lecture with a beautiful quotation. So there is a beautiful quotation for you here. So don't study until you get it right. Study until you can't get it wrong. So this is very helpful for you. So if you have studied well, then only you can do the bit right. But you have to study until you can't do it wrong. If the bit is asked, if the MCQ or if a question is asked in any way, in the pattern might be changed, the question type might be changed, anything can be changed, but the concept will not change. So if you study the concepts very well, then definitely in whatever way they ask the question, you can't get it wrong. So don't study until you get it right, study until you can't get it wrong. So the topics to be covered in this lecture are diversity of living world, systematics, taxonomy, classification, nomenclature. So in this chapter we have seen this is the second lecture. So we have seen all the things in the previous lecture. In the diversity of living world, we have seen how the living organisms are classified and how they are studied. So there are methods to classify the living organisms. So here in this lecture we'll discuss all those things. We'll discuss about my nomenclature, binomial nomenclature, trinomial nomenclature, and all the nomenclatures, and the taxonomical aids also we'll discuss. And there is a other video for taxonomical aids for you, but in this lecture also we'll discuss little bit about all those things. So listen here, there are millions of living organisms such as plants, animals, bacteria and slime molds, etc. Currently 1.7 to 1.8 million living organisms have been discovered so far. So you can see here there are currently 1.7 to million organisms have been discovered. About 1.25 million species of animals and 0.55 million species of plants have been studied, described, and provided names for identification. So you can see here, single group of insects, however, outnumbers all the plants. As you should know one thing, that there are many animals than plants in this world. Every year, about 15,000 new organisms are discovered. Thousands are still unknown and are yet to be identified and described. It is practically impossible to study each and every individual. So, also, it is difficult to remember their names and characters and uses. So, biologists have devised techniques for identification, naming, and grouping of various organisms depending upon the extent of similarities and differences as per certain rules. So you can see here every year many living organisms have are discovered every year. 1500 newly every year 1500 new organisms have been discovered been discovered. Then thousands are still unknown. There are a lot of things to be discovered yet. Then biologists have devised the techniques for identification, naming and grouping of various organisms. So as you know that there are many organisms to study, but there is a process, there is a technique to identify, and biologists have tried to group the organisms. By this grouping only, the study of living organisms has become very easy. So after studying, you can know that as you should know that the organisms which are having common characters are grouped into one group, are made into one group. So scientists who study and contribute to the classification of organisms are known as systematists or taxonomists, and their subject is called systematics. So scientists who study and contribute to the classification of organisms are known as systematists or taxonomists, and their subject is called systematics. Their subject is systematics. So the term systematics was coined by Carolus Linnaeus. Generally, the terms such as classification, systematics, and taxonomy are used interchangeably, but taxonomists like G. Simpson relate them to separate fields. So the term systematics was coined by C. Linnaeus, Carolus Linnaeus. Generally, the terms such as classification, systematics, and taxonomy are used interchangeably, but taxonomists like G. Simpson relate them to separate fields. It is the study of diversity of organisms and all their comparative and evolutionary relationships based on comparative anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and ecology. So here we need to understand one thing that so it is the study systematics is the study of diversity of organisms and all their comparative and evolutionary relationships based on comparative anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and ecology. So when the organisms, it is the systematics is nothing but it is the study of diversity of organisms and all their comparative and evolutionary relationships based on comparative anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and ecology. Simpson regarded classification as a subtopic of systematics that deals with ordering of organisms into groups and taxonomy as the study of principles and procedures of classification. So Simpson, the scientist Simpson, he has regarded classification as a subtopic of systematics that deals with ordering of organisms into groups and taxonomy as the study of principles and procedures of classification. And John Ray, you can see John Ray, he is John Ray. An English naturalist coined the term species for a group of morphologically similar organisms and also tried to differentiate between genus and species. The terms monocotyledons and dicotyledons were also coined by him. So John Ray, he says that he coined the term species for a group of morphologically similar organisms and also tried to differentiate them between genus and a species. Carolus Linnaeus, a Swedish naturalist, often referred to as father of taxonomy, published Systema Naturae and described 4326 species of animals, 4326 species of animals. So he wrote a book. He wrote a book called Systema Naturae. So you can see. So Carolus Linnaeus can be seen here in this photograph. He is Carolus Linnaeus, a Swedish naturalist, often referred to as he is the father of taxonomy. So he published a book called Systema Naturae and described 4,326 species of animals. He described 4,326 species of animals, and he also wrote a book called Species Plantarum, and it contained a description of 5,900 species of plants, and these were arranged according to his system of classification based on sexual characters. Linnaeus also introduced a system of nomenclature of plants and animals known as the binomial nomenclature, which is very famous system of nomenclature, and it is very widely accepted system of nomenclature. So cladistic, it is also a branch. Cladistics classifies organisms according to the historical order in which the evolutionary branches arose. So if the classification is done based on historical order, and classification is done according to historical order, and the branch of science that deals with the classification of organisms according to historical order is nothing but cladistics. So this led to the emergence of new systematics or biosystematics. So these cladistics have given birth to new branches. Okay. So new systematics or neo-systematics, biosystematics. It is a concept of systematics that considers a species to be the product of evolution. So species here in this we consider species is a product of evolution. It takes into consideration all the known characteristics of organisms and all known evidences from different fields of biology. The concept of new systematics was developed by Sir Julian Huxley in 1940. So here you can see the Sir Julian Huxley. The important features are species are not isolated, they are related among themselves by common descent and differ from them due to accumulation of different variations. So species are not isolated. They are species are not isolated. They are not isolated species. They are not isolated organisms. They have a common descent, and they are separated. Species are separated with each other based on only few variations. So main stress is laid upon subspecies and populations instead of species. So it has given rise to the concept of population systematics. So statistical data are used to determine primitiveness or advancement of a species. So if statistical data is very important, statistical data is used to determine primitiveness or advancement of so classification means first we need to understand this is a very important concept. Classification means the ordering of organisms into groups. What is classification? Classification is nothing but ordering of organisms into groups. The branch of science that deals with the study of principles and procedures of biological classification is called taxonomy. The branch of science that deals with the study of principles and procedures of biological classification is called taxonomy. The branch of science that deals with the study of principles and procedures of biological classification. The branch of science that deals with the study of principles and procedures of classification. The classification means nothing but the ordering of organisms into groups. Classification is nothing but the ordering of organisms into groups. So the branch of science that deals with the procedures and principles of classification is called taxonomy. So basics in classification. What are the basics in classification? So characterization and identification, nomenclature and classification. So we'll go one by one. Everything will go in detail in this lecture. Characterization and identification. To identify and characterize an unknown organism by comparing it with known organism. So characterization is nothing but to identify and characterize an unknown organism by comparing it with known organism. It is done with the help of taxonomical aids. So classification. It is the arrangement of organisms into groups or categories on the basis of their affinities or relationships. So if we are arranging an organism into categories on the basis of their affinities or relationships, then it is called so nomenclature. It is the science of providing distinct and proper names to organisms as per the established universal practices and rules so that they can be easily recognized and differentiated from others. So you can see here what is nomenclature. It is the science of providing distinct and proper names to organisms as per the established universal practices and rules so that they can be easily recognized and differentiated from others. Each organism is given a two-word name, generic and specific. So in the nomenclature we can see that there are two words for an scientific name. When we observe a scientific name, so generally the scientific name consists of two words. So first one is the generic word, generic name, and second is the species name. So the method of giving names to living beings, nomenclature is nothing but the method of giving names to living beings. Two types of names are given to the organisms, common names and scientific names. So you can see that what is the difference between a common name, we'll discuss here. So common or vernacular names. So what is a common name or vernacular name? Naming of organism has been started with the appearance of a language in human civilization. So in the human civilization, so human being started naming the organism when the language was emerged between them. Common names are nothing but local names which are given to the animals and plants in a particular language and region of world by local persons. So local persons will give different names to different organisms based on that locality. So these are based on some peculiarity of the organisms. These are usually single word names and are hence uninomial. These are single word names and they are called uninomial. So these are brief and easy to pronounce and remember by the residents of an area. So these కామన్ నేమ్స్ అంటే మన ఊర్ల దగ్గర మన ఊర్లో పెట్టుకున్న పేర్లు, సో మన లాంగ్వేజ్లో పెట్టుకున్న పేర్లు. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇప్పుడు యూ హ్యావ్ మ్యాంగో. సో మ్యాంగో ఇన్ తెలుగు వి కాల్ మామిడి పండు. సో దట్ ఈస్ ఏ కామన్ నేమ్ ఆర్ వెర్నాక్యులర్ నేమ్. But there is a scientific name for it, that is Mangifera indica. So it consists of two words. So if you tell Mangifera indica in America or if you go to African countries or anywhere, if you go to a studied person or if you go to if you want to study about Mangifera indica, if you call it as a Mangifera indica, they will definitely give you a mango. But if you go there and you ask for a mango, then they might not know what is a mango also. So that is a difference between common name and a scientific name. So these names, common names cannot be used by biologists due to the following reasons. So common names they differ from region to region and language to language. An organism may have several names in a given language. An organism may have several names. Okay, one organism can have several names. So in India you can see that mango is called aam in Hindi, and in Telugu it is called Mamidi Pandu. Then in English it is called mango. So different names are there for different one organism, one uh, organism may have different names. Mango tree may have different names in different areas also. In different states also it might be called with different names. So a common name may have different meanings in different areas also. And a wrong common name cannot be easily corrected. And if somebody is calling that particular plant with their own in their own language by using different word, so nobody can correct it because it is their own language. So there must be a scientific nomenclature. So scientists have decided it. సైంటిస్టులు ఏమనుకున్నారంటే ఈ నామన్క్లేచర్ అనేది సో కామన్గా ఉంటే బాగుంటుందని ఆలోచించి దే స్టార్టెడ్ ద గివింగ్ ద సైంటిఫిక్ నేమ్స్ టు లివింగ్ ఆర్గానిజమ్స్. సో దే సెట్ సమ్ రూల్స్ ఫర్ ఇట్. సో scientific names, organisms must have a scientific name which is accepted all over the world. Accepted all over the world. Such naming must be based on agreed principles and criteria. The scientific names ensure that only one name is given to an organism. This is very very important. So one organism will have only one scientific name, and the description of the organism should help the other people to arrive at the same name in any part of the world. So each kind of organism representing a species is given a different name to distinguish it from other. Each kind of organism representing a species is given a different name to distinguish it from other. So if a simple single change is there, some small variations are there between the species, so the name will be changed. One has to ensure that such a name has not been used earlier for any other organism. So if you have found out a new organism, you got through the forest and you found a new plant or a new organism, if you want to name it, first you want to check it whether that whatever name you are going to put it is used somewhere or not. So if anybody has not used that word, that name, then you can put that name. Scientific names. The following have been the practices of providing scientific names to the organisms. So polynomial nomenclature and trinomial nomenclature. Polynomial nomenclature. So before 1750, scholars used to add a series of descriptive words to designate a particular species. So this can be illustrated with the example Caryophyllum. You can see the name given was Caryophyllum saxatilis follis gramineus umbellatus corymbis. So these are the names given for Caryophyllum. So it is called a polynomial nomenclature. So the name itself consists of all the description of that plant. It means Caryophyllum growing on rocks, having grass-like leaves and umbellate corymb arrangement of flowers. So this name is giving all the description of that plant. But it cannot be remembered. Such long names cannot be easily remembered. So this is a backlog of polynomial nomenclature. So scientists came to a conclusion to change the polynomial nomenclature into binomial nomenclature or trinomial nomenclature. Occasionally, trinomial nomenclature, you can see here, occasionally three words are also used for naming an organism, especially the animals. So these include generic name, species name and subspecies name. For example, the modern man is called Homo sapiens and sapiens. Homo sapiens sapiens. So the last word, this is another sapiens is a subspecies. So other examples are gorilla, Acacia nilotica indica, Homo sapiens sapiens. So So all these are the examples of trinomial nomenclature. So what are the rules of nomenclature? This is very very important when you this is the basics of everything. So how do you write a scientific name and how do you follow a scientific method to name? So what are the rules? Names are generally in Latin and written in italics. Names, whatever name we are going to give to an organism, so these names are generally italic. Generally they are Latin. Generally they are Latin words used to name an organism and they are written in italics. Italics means the word must be written in a cross form. If Latin version is not available, names are Latinized. Binomial nomenclature consists of genus name and species name. Name of genus always start with a capital letter. If you want to write in genus name, you should start with a capital letter, while names of species start with a small letter. Names of species start with a small letter. Each kind of organism representing a species is given different name to distinguish it from other. So we have discussed this point previously also. So every organism which is having a small variation is given a different name to differentiate it from other organism. So one has to ensure that such a name has not been used earlier for any other organism. So nomenclature, namakaranam, nothing but it is a giving name to the organism. If you have found a new organism, if you want to give a name to that organism, so that words which are used, they must be generally they are in Latin and they are written in italics, and first word generic name it must start with a capital letter. సో ఫస్ట్ వర్డ్ ఎప్పుడైతే మనం రాస్తామో దట్ అది క్యాపిటల్ లెటర్ యూజ్ చేసి రాయాలి. నెక్స్ట్ లెటర్ స్పీషీస్ నేమ్ రాసేటప్పుడు స్మాల్ లెటర్తో స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి. సో ఇఫ్ నేమ్స్ ఆర్ హ్యాండ్ రిటర్న్, మనం హ్యాండ్ రిటర్న్గా రాసేటప్పుడు నేమ్ ఆఫ్ జీనస్ అండ్ నేమ్ ఆఫ్ స్పీషీస్ ఆర్ సపరేట్లీ అండర్లైన్డ్. సో సపరేట్గా వాటి అన్ని రెండు పీసెస్ని, టూ వర్డ్స్ని సపరేట్గా అండర్లైన్ చేయాలి. The name of author comes after the names of species generally written in abbreviated form in Romans. సో ఒకవేళ ఆథర్ పేరు ఎవరైతే కనుక్కున్నారో ఆయన పేరు కూడా మనం యాడ్ చేయాలనుకుంటే దెన్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు రైట్ ఆఫ్టర్ ద నేమ్. ఆ పేరు మొత్తం ఆ ఆర్గానిజం పేరు అయిపోయిన తర్వాత ఆథర్ నేమ్ కూడా షార్ట్ ఫామ్లో రాసుకోవచ్చు. సో binomial along with the name of author is referred as binomial epithet. దాన్ని అలా మనం ఆథర్ నేమ్ కూడా ఇంక్లూడ్ చేస్తే దాన్ని binomial epithet అంటాం. సో maximum and minimum number of alphabets in genus and species is 12. maximum 12 letters, 12 alphabets యూజ్ చేయొచ్చు. నెక్స్ట్ లీస్ట్గా 3 alphabets యూజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు to write a genus name or a species name. So there are many examples. Panthera leo. Panthera leo is the name of a lion. So Leo, L-E-O, only 3 letters are there. So rules of nomenclature. In the rules of nomenclature you can see if name of species consists of 2 words, then 2 words are joined by putting a hyphen. The name of a species consists of 2 words. స్పీషీస్ పార్ట్లోనే 2 words ఉంటే దెన్ ఆ 2 wordsని జాయిన్ చేయడానికి మధ్యలో హైఫన్ యూజ్ చేస్తాం. సో ఎలా అంటే హైబిస్కస్ రోజా సైనెన్సిస్. హైబిస్కస్ రోజా సైనెన్సిస్. సో రోజా సైనెన్సిస్ ఈ 2 words అనేవి స్పీషీస్నే రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తున్నాయి. సో బట్ దెర్ ఆర్ 2 words ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి మధ్యలో మనము ఒక హైఫన్ని యూజ్ చేసుకుంటాం. ప్రిన్సిపల్ ఆఫ్ ప్రియారిటీ ఈజ్ ఫాలోడ్. ప్రిన్సిపల్ ఆఫ్ ప్రియారిటీ అంటే అది రోజా సైనెన్సిస్, రోజా ఉంది సైనెన్సిస్ ఉంది. సో ఫస్ట్ లెటర్ ఆర్ ఫస్ట్ వస్తుంది కాబట్టి రోజా ఫస్ట్ పెట్టుకున్నాం వర్డ్, ఎస్ తర్వాత వస్తుంది ఆల్ఫాబెటికల్ ఆర్డర్లో కాబట్టి సైనెన్సిస్ అనేది వెనకాల పెట్టుకున్నాం. సో ప్రిన్సిపల్ ఆఫ్ ప్రియారిటీ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో ఫాలోడ్. ప్రిన్సిపల్ ఆఫ్ ప్రియారిటీ కూడా ఫాలో చేస్తాం ఇక్కడ. the first valid published name is accepted as binomial. సో ఇంకోటి ఏంటంటే వ్యాలిడ్ పబ్లిష్డ్ నేమ్ ఉంటుంది. సో ఆ వ్యాలిడ్ పబ్లిష్డ్ నేమ్ ఈజ్ యాక్సెప్టెడ్. ద ఫస్ట్ వ్యాలిడ్ పబ్లిష్డ్ నేమ్ ఇన్ యాక్సెప్టెడ్ యాజ్ బైనామియల్ అండ్ రెస్ట్ ఆర్ కన్సిడర్డ్ యాజ్ సినానిమ్స్. సో వ్యాలిడ్ పబ్లిష్డ్ నేమ్ని అందరు యాక్సెప్ట్ చేసుకుంటారు. అండ్ అదర్ నేమ్స్ ఇంకా ఏదైనా బైనామియల్ నేమ్స్ అదే ప్లాంట్కి అదే ఆర్గానిజంకి పెట్టాలనుకుంటే దే ఆర్ కన్సిడర్డ్ యాజ్ సినానిమ్స్. వాటిని సినానిమ్స్ అంటారు. Rules of nomenclature. So there are some rules of nomenclature. Tautonym. So what is this very important concept? This is a 2-mark question in Telangana IP syllabus. So when name of genus and species are same, when name of genus and species are same, genus name species name same ga unte, then it is called, that procedure is called tautonymy. They are called tautonyms. So they are not accepted by ICBN, International Code of Botanical Nomenclature is not accepting genus name and species name as the same, but it is accepted in ICZN. You can see ICZN. So here in ICZN, International Code of Zoological Nomenclature, has accepted tautonymy where the genus name and species name are same. So for example, the name of a fish is called Katla. It's called Katla. So then the name of a fish is called Katla. Katla and Katla. Katla is the name of a fish. And the other name is also there, that is called spotted deer. It is called Axis. Axis. It is the name of a spotted deer. So homonyms are illegitimate. A single name is given to two different organisms. So when a single name is given to two different organisms, it is called a homonym. So for almond and, you can see here, for almond and plum, it is Prunus dulce. So if the single name is given to two different organisms, it is called a homonym. So I hope you have understood all the concepts in this lecture. So if you have any doubts regarding any of my video lecture, definitely you post your doubt in a comment box, or you are free to call me at any time. I am available 24/7 to help you to improve your conceptual knowledge. So I'll make more videos for you. So but do not forget to subscribe. Subscribe the channel. So don't forget it, and do not forget to subscribe the channel. So please subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon, and share to your friends as well as all your friends and your classmates. If you want any help from me, I will definitely help you regarding getting the concepts and regarding the preparation also, and I can give you a career guidance also. So do not hesitate to call me or message me or text me in any form. So I am free to call. So until then, the next video will be made for you. We'll finish the living world chapter in the next video. Then we'll continue all our video lectures. So stay safe, stay home, and prepare well for your exams.